Minnesota Public Radio.
St. Paul Sunday Morning on American Public Radio is made possible with funds provided by this station and other public radio stations, and by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation.
Welcome to St. Paul Sunday Morning. St. Paul Sunday Morning, presenting the finest in live studio chamber music performance. Join us now in Studio M for today's program. Here's your host, Bill McLaughlin.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Studio M for St. Paul Sunday Morning. We're back with Flim and the Birdies again. Of all the shows we've made, this is one of the 2 or 3 most popular, just in terms of the cards and calls that we've gotten from all of you folks at home. It was popular enough, in fact, that we got Bill Barber, the pianist and composer of most of the tunes for Flim and the Birdies, to make us our theme music, which we've just heard now. Billy, it's nice to have you back.
Thank you.
You want to tell us a little bit about how you did that?
Well, it was actually Tom Vagley's idea, and it was a really nice idea. His idea was to sort of encapsulate the whole idea of what the program's all about. So he said, please come up with a theme that's generally sort of new and Flim and the Birdies like, and try and incorporate these classical quotes from the actual shows into it, and that's what we did.
Sort of a collage almost.
That's exactly what the idea was.
It's very clever. I can't tell you how many people have called or written me notes one place or another around the country saying, what is the tune? Who's the composer? How can I get a recording? So I said, well, maybe you should just tune in next Sunday morning. You can hear it again that way.
Well, we have a lot of relatives, so that's
that works very well for me in Philadelphia, at least. I don't know if yours are spread out or not. We have 5 members in Flim and the Birdies. The last time we were here, I suppose I should say a little bit about the names. Flim is Jim Johnson, the bass player.
That's me.
It's nice to have you back. You've been doing Henry Kissinger impressions by running in and out of town during all the rehearsals.
Subtle bass diplomacy, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely true. Last night you were in Cincinnati, was it?
Cleveland last night. Going to Buffalo tonight.
Okay, somehow he's here this morning in the studio. We're getting a radio program out of it. That's Flim, Jim Johnson, the bass player. The 2 BBs are Billy Barber, who on keyboards. We've just spoken with him. Bill Berg is around the corner from me and in the drum box. We'll talk more about this. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I'm here.
Good enough.
I'm here, Bill.
So Bill Berg is the other of the 2 Bs. Dick Oates is making his debut appearance here on St. Paul Sunday Morning. Dick's a tenor player and soprano player and clarinet player and flute player. Did I skip anything that you have there?
Primarily alto player. And the rest of them are just kind of just there to look at, you know.
Anyway, Dick Oates was not on the first time that BBs were in Flim and the Birdies were on the St. Paul Sunday Morning show, but you're living now in New York, I think, is that right?
Yeah, New York City.
And made that digital tape that I heard that was circulating around. You were there.
Yeah, that was about a year ago or something, a year and a half ago.
Delighted to have you along with Unc. Unc is Dave Carr. And you've changed appearance a lot. You start to look a little more like a Lutheran minister. I think you've shaved your beard.
Yeah.
You've lost weight. Have you found religion?
No. Somebody said I look like a jeweler. I don't know what that means.
Anyway, it's very distinguished.
Thank you.
Which leads us to a fairly distinguished composer who's going to start us off this morning. And I think those of you who've played the piano at home will recognize this one right away. Well, that's very satisfying. Flim and the Birdies, their own unique way of approaching music that up until this morning I thought was music of Bach. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Flim and the Birdies, sort of chamber music jazz. Yeah, what happened, I noticed from looking downstairs in the record library, was that when Bach married his second wife, Anna Magdalena, she was just 20 years old, and he set about to make her a good pianist. She was a very good singer, and the daughter of the court trumpet player there in Curtin where they were living, but he copied some music of his own into her little notebook and then left some space at the end for her to copy anything that she liked. And since there was so much of his music around the house anyway, she copied music from outside the house, and this little musette that we just had now is among them. She copied it so she could teach the children to dance.
That is.
So
amazing.
no one seems to know who's written it. And I think all of us who ever learned to play the piano have gone through this at one stage or another. I think we were playing Bach. Well, we were playing something that Bach got to hear quite a lot of, at least. This is such a nice treatment. Flim and the BBs, if you've just joined us, sort of chamber music jazz, 5 players here. Let's see what we have next. A Cakewalk. What's that?
Well, it's a tune that's a little more BB-esque, I guess. It's named after Gollywog's Cakewalk, but isn't too much like it, maybe a little bit. We were talking about Gollywog's Cakewalk last time that we did the show, and that's what sort of set the idea off. So. But it's a nice little alto melody with a little groove under it. So
Dick Oates, once again, is the alto player.
take it away, Bird.
Already. There it is.
1, 2, 3, 4.
pretty. The end of the ending is almost Debussy, I think. Cakewalk. Cakewalk. This is Flim and the BBs we've been listening to today. Listening. This is an interesting way we listen to each other just in the studio. This is different from the way we do, say, a string quartet on St. Paul Sunday morning. For one thing, all of us, all five of the musicians and I were all hooked up to headphones. And a lot of the sounds that, Billy, that you're making there, both the electric piano and the synthesizer, aren't occurring anywhere in the studio. They're only occurring once they go through the board in the control room and back into our headphones. And then the listeners hear them, of course. But if I take off my headphones, as I did when I came in when you're rehearsing before we went on the air, it's the strangest thing to watch you guys bopping, and I can hear a little bit of the drums coming out. The way we have it set up, I don't know what to describe this thing. This is something that Wenger Corporation, which is not very far from here, is trying out. They've given us one of the prototypes. It's a drum sort of isolation booth. Now, a lot of times when we record rock and roll or commercial or jazz sort of music, one of the big problems in the studio is to keep the drum sound from covering everything else. It gets picked up in all the other microphones. So you spend your life in an isolation booth of some sort.
This is the first time I've been in something quite like this. I've been in enclosures and with fronts and walls around me, but this is different, and it does what the engineers want.
What this is like, let me describe it if I can. It's like an incredible high-tech dollhouse. It's about 10 feet high by about 8 feet wide. Has windows in the front, a little door. It seems to work very well. Now that Bill leans over, I can't see him. He's waving through the window. And some of the rest of the sound that we make, Flim, the way the electric bass, you're not plugging that through an amplifier and speaker here. It goes directly into the board.
That's right, yeah.
What is that instrument? You play lower notes than bass players are supposed to be able to play.
It's kind of an oddball, I guess. It's a 5-string electric bass, so
Uh-huh.
I have a low B string on it, below the standard E.
Uh-huh.
So it's somewhat like the symphony basis with an extension.
Mm-hmm. Except it goes even below there. Extension
Right.
has to.
Yeah.
High tech indeed. This is good.
You know, there are new drums out, and Bill's been trying them a little bit. Maybe you should tell him just a little bit about it.
They're called Simmons drums. I used them the other day, and they're completely synthesized drums. I have a little board for myself to find a different sound. And the drums themselves are like squashed little practice pads, and they're a rubber surface, so it's like you're playing on a practice set. Only you're getting these sounds and these pitch dives and all this kind of thing. And
you know, interestingly enough, generally I think the producers like them more than the drummers do. I think I don't mean to speak for drummers, but they don't get the same acoustic thing back that, you know, when they hit something they expect it to react a certain way and resonate a certain way. When they don't get that, it's not quite the same as going from piano to an electronic keyboard.
There you do
Because
get
it's
a
less
physical
physical.
kind of
Yeah, that's
satisfaction.
right.
And for the first time, I, as a drummer, are listening from a different source. I need an amplifier to hear, behind myself or a monitor, whereas usually there's the drum sound right in front of me.
Yeah, so you know how to play off that.
When you go and play your country club gig, you know, bringing in a stack of Marshall amps just doesn't make so much sense.
You guys don't play country club gigs, but you do play something called the 829. What is that?
Well, I guess it's a tone poem as much as anything else that we play. It's called the 829 because there's a train that a friend of ours, Tom Jung, takes into town whenever he does a recording session. And we've taken it with him a couple times and just kind of wrote a song dedicated to the idea of coming into work on a train.
So here's the 829. Dave Carr is the soprano sax soloist. Good, that's cute. The 829. Well, the 829 boogies right along. Where's that train from?
Scarsdale to Manhattan.
Aha. Good enough. Here, you're moving to New York. Is that true?
I am, yes. My wife and I are moving to Connecticut, if all goes well.
This is truly a bi-coastal band. I will leave Dave Carr as the only member
That's right, the last
still
holdout.
in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, I'll be back here paying the bills.
How does it work out? I mean, because, let's see, Bill Berg, you're still working at Disney Studios?
Yes, I am.
In
Yes,
L.A. as an animator, and Billy Barber, you're going to be living in Connecticut. Dick Oates, you've been living in New York now for some while.
Yeah, sometimes.
You're doing mostly studio work there?
No, actually very little studio work, just doing more little jazz gigs around town and abroad whenever I get the okay from my wife. But I think one of the main thing to point out is that since the band has been actually playing together for the last 4 or 5 years, it's nice to see the changes we've all made, and when we come back and play, I mean, it really shows the differences and how we can play together, and it's really something.
Here.
Yeah, I'm just wondering for Jim Johnson, you've been playing with Alan Holdsworth now on this tour. How long has that been going on?
I've been playing with him for about 3 months now, I guess.
He's a terrific British guitarist.
Yeah, it's the music's real challenging. I'm enjoying it. Very different from me.
Is it hard? You're working with him last night and then again tonight.
Yeah.
Both cases about 1,200 miles away. Is it hard to come back and catch up with your boyhood chums and find a style that works together?
Oh no, it's this feels like home still when I come and play with these guys.
Flim and the BBs been together for a while. What are you going to give us next?
A little tune called Innocent Bystander. And whether you like it or not, we'd like to ask you to participate a little bit.
I keep getting into trouble with you guys. What is it this time? Last time I had to play synthesizer.
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tougher than last time.
Uh-oh.
It's in G, and if you could just be our innocent bystander and just kind of whistle like you're going down the street, that's what we need, and we'll take it from there.
You're not kidding.
I'm not kidding. Go ahead.
I guess I'll know when to stop then. I don't know why I say yes when you guys ask these things.
Now for the next one. Oh.
No, that's enough. Once a Sunday morning is enough. It was Innocent Bystander. In fact, I think I was the Innocent Bystander. Flim and the BBs. Nice tune. Cute tunes. You guys really do have a very identifiable style. So, it's funny, I gave a tape of the last program that you made to my kid, who's a erstwhile rock and roll guitar player and jazz guitar player. It's funny, Flim's a big hit with 16-year-olds. Everybody in the neighborhood's trying to copy all of Flim's bass licks now.
What?
What is it that makes for Flim and the BB style? Billy, I just saw an article with Bob Protzman, a local newspaper reporter, trying to define that a little. And some of the stuff really made sense to it. I think people can hear it right away. Sometimes it's nice if people who are not musicians have some words to wrap around it, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it's always hard to categorize. I think accessible jazz was the label we came up with.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it comes as close as anything. The idea is it's spontaneous and improvisatory, but at the same time, we feel pretty strongly that it should be accessible. It should be something that people can come away with and like and be happy and all that, and it really is the way we honestly feel about it, and hopefully that transfers.
There's a kind of a characteristic to your playing. I mean, there's certainly different moods, but there's a kind of general joyousness about the playing, tied with the rhythm thing. I don't know quite how you generate it. The rhythm's very tight, very driving, but not ever menacing. It sort of keeps you smiling most of the time. Even if you're playing something that's quite tender or dreamy or something, there's still this kind of thing happening in it. I think it must make great dance music too. I can imagine, which a lot of jazz is completely unsuited for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Until this next one we're going to play.
What is this? Tell Me is the name of it, huh?
Go ahead, Flim. Tell him.
Tell them or play them.
You can tell me or play me, which you really like.
Maybe you should say just a couple
Oh,
words.
okay. Well, this has kind of got a reggae influence, but reggae music's usually in 4/4. Even though you can't feel the downbeat, it's usually in 4, and this one's in 7, a slow 7. Just, I don't know, something to try.
Is it your tune?
Yeah.
One thing, real quick, about reggae music that's kind of interesting is that the downbeat seems to be missing, and a lot of people think that that's what gives it the lilt. A lot of other music is so obvious and so
yeah.
But when you take away the downbeat, it kind of makes you kind of
bounce away
float
from
along,
it. Yeah. So you had to catch the upbeats.
So the first beat you don't hear is the downbeat.
We'll pay close attention. This is a tune called Tell Me. This is a trio tune. It's a long way from Bob Marley, but it does have that island's flavor. Anyone who just woke up and turned on the radio and tried to dance to that and had trouble with it, it's because it was 7-beat
Fell over
reggae.
in the bed again.
That's a cute tune. Cute tune. Tell Me is the name of it. Composer Jim Johnson, otherwise known as Flim.
Actually, Berg and my wife Leslie helped me on that one, too.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it myself.
I was going to...
It was so complicated.
Good trick, however you pulled it off. Tell Me. Flim and the BBs we've been listening to this morning. You have another one for us called Thunder and Birdies. What's that all about? Sounds like, like little kids at the piano are always trying to make thunder and birdie pieces by thumping away down the...
Bingo.
Is that what it is?
What that has to do with this next tune, I can't quite figure out. It's a lot of loud and soft passages, I guess. But.
Do any of you in the band have kids? I don't know. I didn't start the...
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do.
I have I sort of
Bill
adopted
Barber.
an 8-year-old, and Berg has.
I have an 8-year-old boy,
Uh-huh.
and not a musician yet.
Uh-huh.
More soccer and basketball than
Mm-hmm.
I like to see.
And these guys over
That's
here are doing their lion's share.
Dave Carr's going to nod his head.
Yes, I have 5. Not all kids anymore.
Uh-huh.
3 girls and 2 boys. The quarterback is 19. The lawyer is...
How about Dick Oates?
Yeah, I just had a baby about 2 years ago. I don't know what he's going to be. He eats a lot, so I imagine. Hopefully he'll be a
He'll
chef.
be a musician.
Maybe you ought to dedicate this piece then for all of our kids.
That's good.
Thunder and Birdies with Flim and the BBs.
Oh my.
That's nice. Thunder and Birdies. Now, it's not Vivaldi Spring, although he uses Thunders and Birdies there in the first movement of the Spring Concerto. You guys start out with Thunder. Get your breath back there, Bill?
Yeah. The heat's rising in here.
That's some pretty ferocious drumming. I think you're bringing it on yourself. It's cooking. Flim and the Birdies, if you've tuned in. A tune called Thunder and Birdies, just with a trio there, Billy Barber, Bill Berg, and Jim Johnson. Got you playing at both ends of that bass there.
Oh, my goodness.
It's nice, though. In a way, it almost gives a guitar color that you can play up in the top register, and it's in that sort of register, and then back to both ends. You were doing that, too, in the reggae tune that you had, especially. So you were playing off both ends of it.
A little bit of melody there, too, I guess.
Yeah.
I've never just satisfied playing the bass notes. You know. Okay. Billy will tell you that.
It's nice the way you guys find your own language together. Looks like we got a tune for Billy alone now, Bill Barber, is that right? Is Parachute, is that for piano?
Yes, it's a piano solo.
Parachute, I don't know, maybe I would think that it would be floating, or I don't know whether it would be like wind in the
that's
face.
Exactly right. The only thing that's literal exactly about it is at the very end, it starts at the top, and then finally the parachute reaches the ground, more or less musically. And otherwise, it's exactly as you said. It's just a nice little floaty piece.
Floating away here with Billy Barber, Parachute. Parachute. That was Billy Barber.
Yeah, Bill.
Pretty. Pretty. You know, it's funny. I suppose we all have these kind of dreams of flying. A lot of people do. I'm feeling a little bit of that as you listen to that piece. It's almost the kind of freedom that jazz musicians have, in a way. I was wondering, as you were playing it, how much of that do you play the same notes, at least from time to time? Is that one written out more than some of your stuff?
I guess so. You know, in a funny way, it's still kind of standard procedure, as any jazz tune is. It's, you know, this part of it is definitely the melody, if you can call it that. But then the middle part is kind of whatever.
Freer.
Yeah, much freer.
That's an interesting thing. I think a lot of people who grow up listening mainly to classical music or even performing it don't have much of a sense of that kind of freedom. Mm-hmm. And in fact, when classical musicians first start to try to improvise, a lot of them are frightened by it. You know, it's like there's too much potential to deal with and too many opportunities because they're told if they play a note that's not one written, and it's a mistake and they're wrong.
It is, you know, at first it is terrifying, I guess, for anybody. The main thing is to just do it and do it and do it and get over that initial fear, and pretty soon your instincts take over, and then you can hopefully really get somewhere then. You know, getting over the fear, like you say, is the hard part.
But what a joy that is. I think for all of you, since I suppose people who listen to jazz and people who play jazz too, especially there's used to be this notion that jazz musicians, for one thing, couldn't read music, didn't have much training at all in any of the more formal side of music, and it was entirely by ear. Certainly early years of say, New Orleans jazz or Chicago jazz, that was largely true. A lot of those players were just phenomenally gifted naturally, and it's not that they didn't practice. You know, I remember reading a line of, this is much later, a much more sophisticated musician, I think of Miles Davis talking about when they were trying to figure out the language of bebop. And most of it was not written down, of course, at the time. Later on, Gunther Schuller comes along and starts to write down all the solos, you know, that, say, that Charlie Parker had played years before. But at that time, Miles was saying, you know, man, we just practiced and practiced. I heard a G chord, my fingers flew to C sharp. He was talking about a flatted fifth there. And it got to be such instinct, as strong as you get in any kind of conservatory, except it was self-applied discipline.
Right. Of course, there are there are the teachers in any kind of music, and jazz included. And there is definitely, you a school of thought that you subscribe to or don't subscribe to, but you make a conscious decision one way or the other. It's just a different language, that's all.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Dave, you've come from a variety of backgrounds. These are the two lead players, I should say, Dick Oates and Dave Carr. Being a studio musician sets you apart from just jazzers in that you have to be able to come into the studio and play anything that's put in front of you, whether it's a Chevrolet commercial or Grand Canyon Suite, I suppose. I mean, whatever happens to be on the stand that day.
Yeah, you need a lot of versatility to function well in commercial music, because you may be playing some Scott Joplin kind of flavor ragtime stuff or Dixieland, and whatever happens to be the current pop idiom, it's what people like to hear, and that's what turns up, and so you have to be aware of it. I kind of like it. I think it's a personal thing, and but there are a lot of great jazz players that don't deal with that kind of versatility, where they're kind of amazed if you could play Dixieland and bebop too. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Because maybe a great bebop player just plays bebop. A great Dixieland player can't play any bebop either, and it doesn't diminish them at all. It's just different. Whatever your cup of tea is.
Yeah. It's basically what you choose. If you really feel that you don't want to spread yourself out in a whole lot of different areas and just zero in one, as opposed, to being able to do a lot of different types of music. It's both sides have its rewards, definitely. You just kind of have to decide sometimes how much money you want to make or have to make, or where direction you want to head.
And where the satisfaction is going to come from.
It's highly personal. And I think the more you lend yourself into dealing with your own feelings about what you want out of music and life, and you make that decision.
It's definitely a lot easier monetarily, I think, to, if you're in the studio like we are, to be, the kind of musician Dave was talking about, a professional chameleon, a friend of ours calls it, being able to jump banks and adapt to different styles.
If you're having trouble keeping everybody in mind here, there's Billy Barber we were just talking to, and just before that was Dick Oates talking about the kind of decision he was making. I remember a year and a half ago or so when we made the first program talking with Bill Berg, and it was your decision to take up work doing animation because it would give you a freedom to choose to do only the musical work that you wanted to do.
That I still pretty much stated that, and I find my enjoyment of another kind of art, which is animation, very satisfying, and I do that, do a 40-hour week, and then I come out and play with a little trio that has Flim in it in LA, and I just give it my all when I go out and play, and I've been able in the last year or so to get a hold of a space where I can put my drums up and play every day, and that wasn't even a thing I could do for a long time.
Yeah.
So we could never tell the difference, though. You always sounded great if you practiced or not.
It's a great trick. It's interesting when we were before we went on the air today, the language that jazz musicians use is different from you and from my gentle listener. When they talk to Bill Berg about setting up a rhythm, they say, would you lay down a groove? And what would come out could be almost anything. It would depend upon the tempo, I guess.
Yeah, it would feel good.
Yeah, he makes it work. We're going to go to another tune, and I hear from talking with Barb backstage here that Roberta is a robot. Is that true?
Yeah.
What is
maybe
this
we've
piece?
had a couple too many glasses of wine when whatever that is.
Not this morning, folks. I mean, this is too early in the morning for even musicians to start drinking, but Roberta the Robot, what is this piece?
That's about it, and I guess we didn't want to think about it any more or less than that, and we just had an idea in our heads about a woman robot, and just kind of this came out of it.
Flim and the BBs, Roberta.
1, 2, 3, 4.
How cute. Yeah, Roberta the robot, kind of winding down there at the end like an old-time music box. That's a very cleverly made piece. And in fact, it's very sophisticated. In a way, it sort of draws you in. The shape of it is sort of avant-garde, maybe A, B, C, B, A, with a little intro and outro.
Yeah.
But that's not so much what happens. I mean, psychologically, what happens is you play this cute little robot music at the beginning. Joy and Flim plays a tune on the bass. It goes to the goat's alto tune. And in the center of it, you sort of discover that Roberta the robot has a heart. Exactly. The spot where the two tenors go back and forth, where Dick and Dave Carr just play back and forth, and the tenor saxophone, it's like a conversation, a love song almost. And then it's as if you've gone into the fun house by one direction and you turn and walk backwards, or just sort of back out of it, because then you meet all of the same things in reverse order then, until you're back out and then find a little robot. What a clever piece that is.
Could you come on the road with us and explain that to the...
I don't think it needs it. Maybe I'm just talking about it because
Really good. No,
I'm so
great.
excited. But the story is so clear, and the picture and the images are so clear, and yet the music seems so unsophisticated. It's a very clever trick that you guys pull off.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really lovely. It works. It really works. We've been visiting with Flim and the BBs this morning. If you've tuned in rather recently, Flim is represented by Jim Johnson, bass player. Billy Barber and Bill Berg are at keyboards and drums. The Goats and Dave Carr at the winds. Flim and the BBs. That was a tune called Roberta. Very clever work. We have time for a few more. We have a piece called Room with a View. What is that?
Actually, Room with a View of You is its official title.
Mm.
It's something that we were just doing our last album in a studio in White Plains, and we needed one more tune. We got to that point, you get it towards the end of the album, and it's kind of like, well, gee, could use something along these lines, and we just kind of went out and this sort of appeared. It was really kind of nice and spontaneous.
I heard you folks talk sometimes about this way of kind of group composing in a way. That's rare. Classical musicians, of course, think of Beethoven trotting through the Vienna woods for 20 years before the Ninth Symphony suddenly bursts into life in full form. What is this kind of thing where, Billy, a lot of times it's your tune, but it'll start maybe with Bill Berg laying down a groove.
Mm-hmm. Well, it brings up an interesting argument about, not an argument really, but compositionally, is it better to start melodically, or is it better to start, which a lot of contemporary music starts, which is in terms of creating an atmosphere and ambience, and going from there, let the melody, maybe if there is one, develop out of like you were saying a few minutes ago, a groove or just an atmosphere. And I've always thought that most people actually did walk down the street and lightning bolt hit, and maybe those are the best kind of melodies. I don't know. It's one of those unanswerable questions you can argue for a long time. But anyway, this one came out of just setting up a nice little chord progression, and it just kind of developed itself out of that through the group. Everybody threw in different ideas, and it came out Room with a View of You.
Flim and the BBs. pretty. Room with a view. Flim and the BBs. So the same sort of wistful music, almost film music with which you open and close it. It has the same kind of chord progression that unites the whole thing. One of the things you folks at home didn't get to watch was Dick Oates laying down his alto saxophone and rushing over to apply himself to the electric piano. Very nicely done. And this frees Billy Barber to apply himself to the synthesizer. What an incredible collection of sounds that instrument can make. That's this electronic instrument you've been hearing off and on during the show. I wonder if you might take just a moment, Billy, and show us a couple of the
Sure.
applications.
Well, I guess the idea is that it's the kind of instrument, well, actually we had it on before we were on the show. It starts with oscillators and just goes through a lot of different filters and envelope generators and this and that to come out with a lot of different sounds. The one on Flim's tune, Tell Me, was sort of the steel drum sound. Of course, you have to, whatever the notes you play has to be idiomatic to the kind of
To the
style
quality
that you
that
play.
you
Otherwise, it doesn't work so well. For instance, that sound up high doesn't sound so much like steel drums, and of course, down low it isn't either. But when you're in the same register, you know, it's pretty close. And then there's a lot of different things. There's sort of a pseudo string sound, that kind of thing. Little Tinkerbells. Kind of whatever your heart desires. There's a lot of weird stuff too, but you probably don't want to hear that.
Yeah. How about these two
I know
little
Flim does.
these two little dials that you keep playing with on the left here? These.
Yeah, that's one is for pitch.
So just by
Up
rotating
and
that,
then
you can
down.
raise and lower.
Right. And then the other is modulation, so you can get a sort of a vibrato. There's with it out, and then when you push it, all the way there.
All right. Flim wants to go back to something a little bit straighter. It's playing.
He's a little queasy.
This last tune, Tunnel, was something I heard you rehearsing just before we went on the air. It has a wonderful relationship of E and F sharp in it. It's around C major, it sounded like, but with this F sharp in the scale. It's a scale, it's ancient, was known to Aristotle and Plato, probably long before then too. Sort of around Lydian mode. I get to hear a little of it. Tunnel, Flim and the BBs once again. Yeah, pretty that E and F sharp finally resolved, and there's Flim's ultra low C from the double bass. Good licks. Oh, what a pleasure. We've been listening once again to Flim and the BBs, and this is really a question of, not a question, it's a chance that you've asked for. So many folks have written in or called us up after your appearance here on St. Paul Sunday morning before. We figured we just had to get you back together. Even though it means bringing Dick Oates from New York and Bill Berg from Los Angeles and, let's see, Billy Barber, who's just about to go to live in Connecticut, and Dave Carr, who thankfully enough still lives in Minneapolis.
I'm going to move, though.
Good. And the principal traveler on this occasion has been Flim. Jim Johnson, the bass player, was here for rehearsal yesterday. Flew off to Cleveland. He's yawning now. Played there last night with Alan Holdsworth, and he's just about, you can't shuffle off the Buffalo. You got to zoom. So I'll let you out of the studio right away. Thank you, gentlemen. What a pleasure this has been.
Thanks for having us back.
Thank you. It's good to see you again, Bill.
So we'll try to gather here next Sunday morning for something. I hope that the rest of your days will be as joyous as the music these young gents have played for us this morning. So long now.
St. Paul Sunday Morning is produced by Minnesota Public Radio in the Maud Moon Weyerhaeuser Music Studio. Your host for the series is Bill McLaughlin. Our guests today were the members of Flim and the BBs, Flim Johnson, Bill Barber, Bill Berg, Dave Carr, and Dick Oates. Engineering was by Tom Mudge. The associate producer was Mary Lee. St. Paul Sunday Morning was created for radio by Tom Vagley. This is Jim Lawless.
St. Paul Sunday Morning is made possible with funds provided by this station and other public radio stations, and by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation through the American Public Radio Program Fund.
This is the American Public Radio Network.